Rated E for everyone.
In 1994, Sega decided to make a new kind of game. In a marketplace saturated with side-scrollers, this game would feature something truly different, a character who flies freely. But the pieces weren't falling into place, and the project was in danger of being canceled.
But then we had the idea of flight and flying in dreams. We started to think about what kind of character would a child meet if they were flying in their dreams, and the character came out of that, and then things started to progress quickly from that point.
The idea that almost never was became Nights into Dreams, a story about the fantasy world in our minds. The game featured a jester-like being called Knights, who battles wise men the wicked to save the dreams of sleeping humans. Aided by two children, Clarice and Elliot, the three restore peace in the Nightopian dream world and find their inner strength along the way. Nights into Dreams became one of the best-selling titles for the Sega Saturn when it was released in July 1996. Fans reveled in the unique storyline, Nightopian A-life, and most of all, the exhilarating sensation of flight. That same year, Sega gave fans a Christmas present, Christmas Nights, an expansion pack that offered additional game levels with changing scenery and several fun unlockable extras. Sega's unique flying character was a bona fide hit, but he was about to take an 11-year nap. Over the years, Knights made appearances in several Sega titles. Even so, Sega had no plans for a sequel. Finally, in May 2007, 11 years after Nights into Dreams debuted, Sega announced they were ready to awaken Knights from his slumber.
When we heard all the fans coming in, they're clamoring and saying, hey, we really want to play this game, we wanted to make sure that we were bringing Knights into a format that would feel really appropriate.
Offering several different control options, the Wii would take the guesswork out of gameplay.
Having a simple and fun control scheme was hugely important to us. We're building the game around the whole concept of flight and just giving somebody exhilarating and fun experience and flying the character around.
Nights Journey of Dreams went into development in 2006. Sega Team USA wanted to be sure that they stayed true to their original formula.
The idea here was to still keep it the same. We want to bring this game to the next generation of gamers. We wanted to introduce these guys to what made this game such a classic and what made this game so great.
And what made Nights so appealing was the sensation of flight.
One of the early fantasies that we have as people in general is, flying. So Nights allows you to take that fantasy and really live it. And the new Nights just offers flight in a way that the old one couldn't offer at the time because of technical limitations. It really feels like real magic.
Designed to feel almost like swimming, the Journey of Dreams flight experience allows players to feel an exhilarating freedom. It's a feeling that no flight simulator can offer, unique only to the Nights franchise. Game hardware may have received an overhaul, but the focus on an intense and meaningful storyline would stay the same. The same cast of characters would return in Journey of Dreams, but with an update. Two new children, Helen and William, help Knights fight Wise Man and the Nightmare.
The children, Will and Helen, are really the main characters of the game, and it's really their journey of dreams. They are coming into adolescence, and their relationships with their parents are changing as they're growing up. That's what the source of their fears are, and Knights helps them re-examine this and come to terms with the changing relationship.
For game producer Takashi Iizuka, intentions were to have audiences form a strong emotional bond with the carefree Knights.
Knights is supposed to be a character that supports not just Will and Helen. He's supposed to possibly appear in the dreams of even the players. He's supposed to be more of somebody who helps everyone.
Careful to maintain the unique gameplay experience of Nights into Dreams, developers focused on maintaining Nights' unique airborne looping and diving skills.
Imagine if you're on a theme park and you're going through this great ride and you really get this great sensation. But as you're doing that, you're also having this character you control, and you really can have the character do the loop-the-loops and move around in ways that you only imagine you could. This wonder that you will get, it's like, wow, I can make these kind of moves. This is something that really gives you a different sense of gameplay.
The Nightopian world that Nights weaves, glides, and spirals through was designed with great care and with great insight into the mind of a child.
Usually in typical game design, you might think of a gameplay conceit or a cool thing to have in a level, and you might build a level around that cool trick or something. In this case, we really built the game from like, okay, what kind of dreams would Will and Helen have, and how can we make this into an interesting level?
Whimsical creatures and terrible nightmarish monsters populate 7 new game levels.
I think as players, we really can identify with being able to live inside this world. It's such a game that you really want to be in, and that's something that NiGHTS offers that it's really rare.
The psychology of dreams also features prominently in the game's new features. Persona masks, items that let Knights capture the power of a dolphin, dragon, or a rocket, were inspired by famed psychologist Carl Jung.
One of his ideas was that we create personas or archetypes psychologically, and I always wanted to use that in a game. I came up with the idea specifically for Knights of using a persona mask. I wanted players to re-experience levels, go back in a new mask and find new things to do.
Responding to fan feedback, Izuka and his team created a new game area called My Dream World. Here, players can raise Nightopians in their own virtual sandbox, free from time restraints.
It starts off pretty barren, but now it's up to you to see how it's going to be built out. It's your own little Tamagotchi. You're actually kind of raising these guys.
The addition of the Weather Channel feature lets the actual weather in the player's hometown influence Nightopian life. And a symbol-based chat system removes language barriers and lets players share dream worlds with whoever they want. It was a long slumber for Knights, but revolutionary gameplay, a fantastical world, and a star character promised to help the new game resonate with a broad audience.
Sega.